It all started on an unusually warm spring afternoon, the kind of day where the breeze carried the smell of freshly cut grass. Kids laughed in the distance, and everything seemed peaceful. At least, that's how it felt until Karen moved into the house across the street. For weeks, the neighborhood had buzzed with curiosity about the new resident. Nobody really knew her, but everyone soon learned one thing. She had a talent for turning the simplest matters into problems. My dog, Max, had been part of my life for almost a decade. A golden retriever with a gentle soul. He was adored by neighbors, especially the children who loved to throw sticks for him in the cul-de-sac. Max never barked without reason, never caused damage, and was the kind of dog most homeowners dream of having. He was a companion, a guardian, and in many ways, the heart of my home. But to Karen, Max was nothing more than a nuisance. The first complaint came just a few days after she moved in. I found a bright pink note taped to my mailbox with shaky handwriting scrawled across it. "Your dog barks too much. This is unacceptable in a civilized neighborhood." I remember holding the note, staring at it in disbelief. Max rarely barked at all. If anything, the mailman got a cheerful woof once a day, and that was it. The note felt more like a warning shot than a genuine concern. I shrugged it off, thinking Karen just needed time to settle in. But Karen wasn't interested in settling in quietly. She seemed determined to control everything around her. At first, it was just Max. Then, she started pointing out trivial issues: lawn decorations, trash bins, even the placement of recycling containers on collection day. Every small detail became a battlefield. Yet somehow, Max remained her primary obsession. One evening, while Max was lying quietly in the yard, Karen stormed over to the HOA board president during a casual community gathering. I wasn't there to witness it firsthand, but my neighbor later told me she spent the entire time ranting about how unbearable my dog was. Her claims were outrageous, that Max barked all night long, that he threatened her safety, that he ruined the peace of the neighborhood. None of it was true. Still, she pushed hard, demanding immediate action. The HOA, eager to avoid conflict, sent me an official notice. It was surreal to read, a formal letter warning me about nuisance noise violations and threatening fines if I didn't address the matter. I knew the truth. My dog was no nuisance, but in Karen's mind, perception was reality, and she was shaping that perception one complaint at a time. I decided to keep calm. I bought a camera system, installing it in my backyard and front yard to monitor Max. I wasn't going to let Karen's lies destroy my peace of mind. For a while, the cameras captured exactly what I expected. Max, lounging lazily, wagging his tail, and sleeping more hours than he was awake. Hardly the picture of a problem animal. But the complaints didn't stop. Karen escalated. She began walking past my property more often, staring at Max, muttering under her breath. Sometimes she would stop, pull out her phone, and pretend to record him. Other times, she'd make exaggerated gestures, waving her hands and yelling at me from across the street about how my dog was terrorizing her. It was as if she was performing for the neighborhood, trying to win others to her side. At first, the neighbors humored her. They nodded politely, brushed off her rants, and went about their lives. But as her campaign against Max continued, whispers began to spread. Some wondered if maybe Karen had a point. After all, she was so persistent. And persistence, even without truth, has a way of planting seeds of doubt. I could feel the tide shifting. My once peaceful community started to look at me differently. HOA meetings became tense. Conversations felt heavier. And all the while, Max remained blissfully unaware. Still wagging his tail at everyone he saw, still waiting by the door each evening for his evening walk. He didn't know he'd become the center of a storm. What Karen didn't realize, though, was that her obsession was about to backfire. because the more she pushed, the more I documented. Every note, every letter, every false claim, I kept it all. Every minute of footage showing Max peacefully napping was safely stored. I didn't know it yet, but that collection of evidence would eventually become the very thing that turned the tables. Still, in those early days, it was exhausting. Max was supposed to bring me joy, not constant battles with a neighbor who seemed determined to ruin my life. I started to dread checking the mail, worried about what new complaint would be waiting. I braced myself each time my phone rang, wondering if it would be the HOA calling to threaten me with yet another fine. And through it all, Karen seemed to thrive on the chaos she was creating. But sometimes, life has a way of balancing things out. And while Karen thought she was gaining the upper hand, she didn't realize that her own behavior was catching up with her. The very people she tried to win over were beginning to see the cracks in her story. They started noticing how quiet Max really was. They started realizing that the drama always came from Karen, never from me. It was subtle at first, a glance, a comment, a raised eyebrow. But little by little, the neighborhood's patience with Karen began to wear thin. And though the battle was far from over, the shift had begun. Because soon, Max wouldn't just be the dog she hated. He'd be the reason Karen's entire crusade came crashing down.